joint meeting of Glendale City Council, Glendale Successor Agency, and Glendale Economic Development Corporation. May we have roll call for City Council?
City Council members Devine. Here. Friedman.
Here.
Najarian. Weaver.
Here.
Mayor Sinanian.
Here. May we have Glendale Successor Agency?
Agency members Devine.
Here.
Friedman.
Here.
Najarian. Weaver.
Here.
Chair Sinanian.
Here. May we have Glendale Economic Development Corporation, please?
Board members Devine.
Here.
Friedman.
Here.
Najarian. Weaver.
Here.
Chair Sinanian.
Here. May we have the report, please?
The agenda for the October 28, 2014 joint public meeting of the City Council, Successor Agency, and Economic Development Corporation was posted on Thursday, October 23, 2014 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Yes, Ms. Friedman?
I am going to be recusing myself on the item involving the Alex Theater. So I would, and I'll explain why, but I'm going to request that you switch the order of the items so that I can not have to come back after that item.
Certainly.
I'm staying here. We have a council meeting tonight, but that way I don't have to sort of stay in the back and go back.
You got it. So we'll do the minutes next.
Minutes of the Successor Agency meeting of Tuesday, September 9, 2014.
Move the minutes. Move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Without objection, we'll deem the minutes admitted as submitted. Okay, we will take item number 3 next.
City Manager, regarding 2022 World Fair occurring in the City of Los Angeles. 3A is Council Resolution of Support.
Mr. Lazarfan?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, City of Glendale has been approached by a group that wants to bring the World's Fair to Los Angeles in 2022 to 24. The global vision of the future that we want to celebrate is connectivity, sustainability, and livability of our city. Now, you might say, well, isn't that the City of Los Angeles? The group is looking at the larger LA metro area, and as opposed to having a single campus in a city, the venues will be spread around many of the cities throughout. The hope is that each of these venues are connected through transit, mainly our train systems. So it would be a great opportunity for the larger metro area to receive the over 100 countries, 1,000 corporations that are expected to participate in the 100 million visitors that are expected to come through the area during this event. The theme of the fair is the connected city, and the City of Glendale is being asked to support this effort with a resolution that's there before you. I believe there is a member, they are here, members of the committee, if you have any questions. Otherwise, staff is recommending your support.
Well, I have a question. What would this cost the City of LA, the City of Glendale, taxpayers in LA County? Who's paying for it? All of those kinds of questions.
I will let them respond. The item before you has no cost, and as I know, Glendale...
I understand that, but if we're passing a resolution for something that ultimately has a cost for our taxpayers, I just want to know what that is.
As I understand, there is no cost to our taxpayers. We are not building any venues. This is merely to support.
I understand that, but we're advocating for something that will have a cost. Someone will have to pay for this. So I just want to know who.
The folks that ultimately would be organizing as promoters of this event would front that cost, presumably in partnership with, for example, the LA Convention Center. Or
let's ask them. Is this something that the City of LA, the County of LA is putting money into, City of LA?
Please state your names for the record.
Armin Martin. I am General Counsel for the Los Angeles World's Fair, the organization that's behind this effort. I'm also a Glendale City resident. So to answer your question, City Council Member Friedman, no, there will be no public monies used for this. The organization itself is a corporation, a for-profit corporation, but under the recently established hybrid corporation laws in the state of California, we're what's called a flexible purpose corporation. And as a result, while we are theoretically a for-profit corporation, we're going to have shareholders, and we're expecting to raise a significant amount of capital to do this. a portion of our profits are going to go towards public benefits. So we have discussed a portion of the profits going towards music and arts programs in the city of Los Angeles. Ultimately, even though we are a for-profit corporation, the folks who started the company and started this venture come from the nonprofit world. And the reason why we chose to be a for-profit corporation was so that we could get the investment dollars that we're going to need in order to put on something of this scale, which is going to be pretty significant. I'm going to turn it over to our board member, Jefferson Scherbeck, who's one of the founders of the corporation.
I'm going to also ask one other question as you come up, just so you can answer it.
Sure.
Because I'm so intrigued by this. I think it sounds pretty cool. Would you be building a new facility like the old World's Fairs, or you're going to be using a convention center or existing sites?
There are two aspects to the World's Fair that I think make what we're trying to do unique. One is the idea of dispersing it throughout Los Angeles County. That is unique and it's not been done before. In that idea, the amount of new and the amount of reuse will all be determined as we move forward. To go back to your first question about investment, what we're looking at as a possible sort of public-private partnership is the idea that if there are lands available around station areas, we're interested in partnering up with private developers to help create where pavilions could go. Number two, and sort of toward the idea of a sustainability model, the intention is to put the pavilions, the buildings, the things that we develop for the World's Fair throughout Los Angeles County have a first-time use for the fair, and then also have everything have the criteria of a second time or an ongoing use, so that the development that we're doing is actually sustainable and is improving the transportation and the development, the urban transformation of the city. So there is an idea of trying to leverage private dollars, maybe, if possible, with public land, if it's available. If it's not, we're looking at all different types of models of how we do the development.
Okay, so it would be County of Los Angeles, not just City of Los Angeles.
The County of Los Angeles is the intention in using really Metro and MetroLink as the sort of the prime backbone of the dispersal of the pavilion areas.
And my last question is, how are you doing with the fundraising, with the outreach? When are you planning on this?
Without disclosing specific dollars, we've had a couple of angel investors that have kicked in to get us started. We also have an early round of investment that created the corporation, and maybe Armin could touch on that. But we're doing very well. Our next step, and what we're working toward right now, is to go through a crowdfunding campaign. So we've generated video and all of that. What we're looking for is both public support from cities. There's 88 cities in the County of Los Angeles, and we're basically going around. Glendale will have the opportunity of being the first to support us, which I think is a good position to be in.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're going to the 88 cities and talking to all of them. We are talking to Metro. We're talking to a lot of people about how they support us. So.
And to be clear, we have already spoken with the city of Los Angeles, but as a organization, we made the decision that we don't want to be known as an organization that concentrates on the city of Los Angeles. We're really here for the county. So we made the affirmative decision, pushed somewhat by myself as a Glendale resident, to have another large city in the county be the first. So we're hoping that Glendale will be the first. We have another city lined up, the city of Montebello, potentially to be the second, and then we'll approach the city of Los Angeles for their official support, though we have unofficial support from everybody from the mayor to a number of the city councilmen. We've met with a number of the members of the Board of Supervisors in LA County, and frankly, this is much more. So at this point, it's already progressed to being more than just a small community operation. We have over 500 volunteers already involved with the organization, and we haven't even done our, quote, hard launch yet. So it's very exciting.
Just make one suggestion to you. I sit on the board of something called the Independent Cities Association, and there's also a Contract Cities Association that serves Los Angeles County. And unlike the league, where you're getting people from all over Southern California, this is just Los Angeles based. So I would invite you to come and speak at one of our board meetings, and maybe even one of our seminars, because then you can kind of hit everyone up at once. All of the cities in Los Angeles County and a lot of the council members and city managers. You can present what you're doing and let them all know about it.
We've modeled this after the World's Fair that was held in New York City in 1939. It was truly a grassroots effort. It was actually started by police officers in the city of New York. Very few people know that. And it became one of the largest and most successful World's Fairs in history. So we're really trying to model that and start it. We're starting early, obviously. We're 8 years away from the beginning. But we're really trying to make this a grassroots effort, and we're reaching out to large organizations throughout the city asking for their support. We anticipate getting that from a number of organizations who have already told us they're behind us. Once we've sort of gotten some of the traction publicly, I think at that point we'll be in a much stronger position to go out to larger investors who've already expressed interest to actually raise the real dollars that are going to make this go.
Yes.
You have
Ms. Levine.
500 volunteers. How many are on your board currently?
We have 5 people on the board.
5 on the board
currently.
right now?
Since we started on the expense end of it, of how much it's going to cost to the public to put this up, if you can answer this question, how much in benefits? I mean, if you can put probably hard to put a value on it, but if this comes to fruition and it's done properly, I mean, we're looking at hundreds of millions of dollars of benefits to the county.
If I can interject and then let you answer about the benefits.
Sure. One
of the things that we say is that one of the requests that we have is we need about $40 billion for the transportation system to put it in place. Well, that's already been done. So that $40 billion is being spent to put the transportation in place for Los Angeles County, including Metrolink and the trains that are going in. So that $40 billion is already invested, and we're leveraging that. So what that and the additional amounts of pavilion development would be.
Just to give you a sense, we believe just in terms of development of the pavilions, we're talking about $100 billion in construction revenues. Wow. We're anticipating to have over 100 countries, potentially over 1,000 companies and other entities building pavilions. Just so you know, the World's Fairs that have been held in the U.S. have never been officially sanctioned. The U.S. is not a member of the world body that sanctions World's Fairs. There is an officially sanctioned World Fair for 2020 in Dubai. We're moving forward with our plan in 2022 in light of, even in view of that. So you may be asking why, and the answer is pretty simple. If you're a country or a company, where do you want to get your exposure, in Dubai or in Los Angeles? It's a pretty easy answer.
The weather is better here.
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, I'd move the item.
Second?
May we have roll call, please?
Council members Devine,
Yes.
Friedman,
Yes.
Najarian, Weaver,
Aye.
Mayor Sinanian.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Keep us posted on how it goes. Next item, I know Ms. Friedman wants to recuse herself.
Why don't you read the item, though,
Yeah.
into the record?
Director of Economic Development regarding Glendale Arts change order for labor in connection with the Alex Theater expansion project, specification number 3500. 2A, Successor Agency motion approving $64,128 change order to the contract for a new contract amount of $219,128.
I discussed this with our city attorney, and he doesn't think that I actually have a conflict, but just out of abundance of caution, the gist of it is that I did work for a nonprofit that through a group that Glendale Arts also hired to do some work for. So I'm no longer, it's very accentuated. I'm no longer working for that group. It was many months ago. They contract again with, are you still contracting with it? They're not. They no longer contract with the group that I did some work through. So even though there's no conflict, just to avoid any perception of any conflict, I'm going to recuse myself. Thank you.
Thank you. And we still have a quorum. So let's have the item.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, in June of 2013, the Successor Agency hired the Glendale Arts to do some particular work for us as part of the expansion project. While we did close down for a good period of time, there were some things that needed to be done pre-development to shut down the theater, post-development to bring it back up, and then in between to do some things to get the theater in a condition suitable for performances, because we did have some periodic performances while we were under construction. The Glendale Arts staff was the most qualified to do that, knowing the theater as well as they do. We had given an estimate of what that was. According to the ROPS process, everything is done by estimate. So we estimated what that would be, $155,000. We put it on a recognized obligation payment schedule. We got it approved. We let the contract with Glendale Arts. What we found is there was far more extensive work that had to be done in moving sets and equipment back and forth. And so we've incurred this change order of $64,000, this additional amount. Now, at the time that we became aware of this, we were in between ROPS periods, if you will, but the work couldn't wait. So Glendale Arts took on that. They absorbed that cost themselves with the thought that we would seek reimbursement. We, in fact, did put it on a subsequent ROPS that you approved. The Department of Finance has approved that funding, and so now we're back for the mechanics to do the actual change order. This will be funded out of contingency project savings, and so there will not be a new request for additional money. With that, staff is here, as well as Elisa Glickman from Glendale Arts, if you have any questions.
Okay. Who did the actual work?
It was staff from Glendale Arts. They're different stage crews, and Jack Alway, who's their general manager.
Okay.
So you didn't hire out or contract out for this work?
We did not.
Arts didn't.
I should say we contracted out with Glendale Arts to do the work inside the theater.
Okay. I have no questions. If someone will move the
I'll
item.
move the item.
Second.
So may we have the roll call, please?
Agency members Devine,
Yes.
Friedman, Najarian, Weaver,
Aye.
Chair Sinanian.
Yes. Thank you. What's next on the agenda?
Adjournment.
Adjourn?
I so move for adjournment.
Of which one?
Council. Let's start with council.
Council.
And may we have roll call, please?
Council members.
Yeah.
Well, we have a second. That'll be fine.
Okay, second.
Let's have it for Glendale Successor Agency,
So move.
Second.
and let's have it for the corporation.
Adjournment. So move.
Second.
Thank you. And we're adjourned at 3:54 p.m.